Okay, so today this is compound interest. Coach Elkins has already done the full note page, so I'm just going to go over a couple of the important things like the formula and what those letters mean. And this is October 5th, so this is Monday. So compound interest, it's like the simple interest we did last week, or it's similar, but we're going to be doing a couple of different steps. Last week when we did simple, we were just finding the interest, and then we had to add to find the total. When we do compound interest, and we use this formula right here, this A represents the total. So when you do the whole formula, you're finding the total. So you're skipping to the end of what we did last week. You're finding the total of interest and the original amount, or the dollar sign. And so the P still stands for the same. It's the dollar amount. The R is the interest rate. If it has a percent at all, even if there's already a decimal, you have to divide that by 100 to get your decimal. And T is the number of years. So, and a couple things you're going to have to be doing on the worksheet. When you do the formula and you find your total, that's going to be one answer, whatever your total is, and then your second answer, like you had on the simple interest, you had two answers, is going to be what you get when you subtract the original principal amount. And we'll look at that when we get to the worksheet. Some examples, Coach Elkins has done that on his note page, so I'm going to skip over that. So on to the worksheet. I'm going to write the formula down at the very top. So A equals principal, or price, 1, that's just part of the formula. That never changes, that's just always there. Plus your rate, close parentheses, and then a little exponent of time in years. Okay, and this is going to have two answers. You want to have your total, so just whatever you get when you plug all that in, and just the interest. Okay, so that's the total minus the principal. Okay, so we're going to use this formula, the P1 plus R, and I'm going to go ahead and label what they gave me in number 1. So my price, the dollar sign, that's P. The percent is my rate, but I need to divide that by 100. So 7 divided by 100 is 0.07. That's what I need to use. And then my time is 3. So when I write all this down, my P, 7,300. Open parentheses, 1 plus 0.07, and then 3. So what that looks like in the calculator, or an app like the Calculate 84 app, if you have it, it'll do the same thing. You have parentheses, you have all the buttons we're going to use. So it'll look like this, 7,300. Open parentheses, that's right above the 8. So then 1 plus 0.07, close parentheses above the 9. And then to get your little exponent, whatever number you want, that's the caret top, this little arrow below the clear button and above the division sign. And we can put our time up there. So it's 3. I hit enter. So my first answer is 89.42. And I'm just going to write 2 numbers behind the decimal. I'm not going to write the whole thing. And then we're going to find our interest. So to do that, I've got to take this minus the principal amount, the original amount. And I'm just going to hit minus, and that'll take the full answer, and we'll subtract 7,300. Okay, so that's my total. Just the interest is this 1642.81. Okay, so 2 answers for each. These are all pretty basic, pretty easy numbers. I'm going to look at number 7 because it has that decimal, and a lot of people kind of get confused on those. So first of all, I'm going to label my 3 numbers. The 28,000, that's my price. The 7.9% is my rate. And then the 2 years is my time. So the one thing I need to change, and if you want, I would go through and go ahead and divide all of those by 100 so you don't forget. So 7.9 divided by 100 is 0.079, and that's the number I need to use. I've got my formula. Now I'm going to fill it in with my numbers they gave me on this problem. And the time. So when I plug all that in, 28,600, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.079, close your parentheses, caret top or arrow, 2, and that is 33,297.29. Okay, that's my total. Now I've got to subtract the principal amount, so the 28,600. And when we do that, we get 4697.29, and that's my interest. Oh my gosh, I couldn't see the time for a second. I thought I wasn't recording. That would have been terrible. Okay, I'm gonna look at 2 more, maybe. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna look at number 8 because it's got another percent with the decimal. This is my principal amount. This is my rate, but I have to divide that by 100. 13.6 divided by 100, and that is 0.136. That's the number I need to use, and I've got my time. So principal is 21,000, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.136, and the little exponent is 4. So we're going to type all that in. Nope, I'm not thinking. Yep, I am. 21,000, open parentheses, 1 plus 0.136, close parentheses, and then exponent of 4. So my total, 34,972.97. I'm just doing the first two numbers after the decimal. I'm not rounding. Coach Elkins usually just, you cut them off. So I'm not going to round or do anything like that. And then I'm going to subtract my original amount, so 21,000. And that is 13,972.97. So PRT, make sure you divide by 100, divide by 100. Okay, down here at the bottom, this one's weird, but the P principal, the 1.99, for some reason that's tripped people up today, not really sure why, but that's not what we're going to use. We're going to use 0.0199 for your rate. Sorry, I wrote that terrible. And then the same formula, P parentheses 1 plus R and then T. So 3,800, 1 plus, and 3. And whenever you get here, make sure you subtract the 3,800 for your 2 answers. The simple interest, a lot of people have forgotten today what the formula is for that, so I'm going to write it once up here. So for simple interest, it's I equals P R T, and when those numbers, or when the letters are right next to each other bunched up, that just means that you're actually multiplying these 3 things together. But just like with compound, we can label them the same, and we make sure that we change our percent to a decimal just the same. So 6 divided by 100 is 0.06, and then your time. Okay, so on this one, when we plug in our numbers, I've got 37,400 times 0.06 times time. Okay, and this is going to give us I, so that's just the interest, that's just the extra amount of money, times 0.06 times 5, and that's 11,220. Okay, so that's just the interest. The total, to get the total, we have to take that interest we got and add it back to the 37,000. So plus plus 37,400. And so the total is 48,620. Okay, so it's kind of backwards from the compound. You're finding the smaller number first and then adding to get your total, your big amount. Same thing on this one. There. Okay, multiply them all together. Add the principal amount for total. That's beautiful. Same thing on the back. These are a little bit easier numbers, but make sure you divide these by 100. Don't forget. And solve, just like we've been solving equations the past couple weeks. Always box everything in with the sign that comes right before it so you don't lose any negatives. Like on number 19, there's a lot of negatives. And that's it. Message me on Schoology, email me if you have any troubles. This is kind of difficult. So if you need help finding a calculator app or a website to use, let me know, because you're going to need it really for this compound interest stuff. Okay, bye.